My name's Peter Smith, boat builder, entrepreneur, sailor. It's what I've done all my life, know nothing else. So this is a blow-up globe of the world. I've had this for right from the very early days when I left New Zealand, 1978. And it basically represents the tracks that I've completed over the last 40 years of sailing, something in the vicinity of 300,000 miles if you look at it in terms of straight miles. The reality is, in actual fact, I've probably got somewhere around about 350,000 miles on Kiwirau and myself now because of the to-ing and fro-ing and the backwards and forwards that you do. And it's the testing ground for Rockner. Every one of these lines you can see on this chart represents hundreds of anchor sets and recoveries in probably some of the worst environments in the world. The bottom end of the Horn down to Antarctica, across to the bottom end of South America. That one there, particularly that one going across there, is down the Southern Oceans, Kerguelen. I got blown out of Kerguelen 70 knots. And then Heard Island and all the way across to Tasmania and then up the Australian coast where we are now at this point in time. Here we have New Zealand up into Southeast Asia, finishing in Borneo. So highlights, they're all highlights, every passage. New Zealand to Patagonia, that in itself is a big passage via the Southern Oceans. Getting down to Antarctica, of course, is a highlight. And then South Georgia has got to be the jewel on this passage. I actually came back, I single-handed back from South Georgia back to the Horn, back to Ushuaia, and that was, I had to go down to 60 south to get back against the roaring 50s in actual fact. The passage across to Cape Town, we got rolled off Tristan da Cunha on that passage. Kiwirau, of course, came up smiling, no water below, not too much damage, got into Cape Town okay. The passage from Cape Town to Newfoundland, that was a very long passage, probably worthy of mention. It was basically non-stop. We actually, from Cape Town, we actually went to Namibia and then Namibia to Newfoundland non-stop. Up and down the Greenland coast 4 times, across the Atlantic, the Azores, Portugal, down to Morocco, all the way around Ireland, the west coast of Ireland 3 times, all the way up to northern Norway and then across to Svalbard, which is way up here. We actually got to 84 degrees north in Svalbard. That's worthy of merit and note. Anchorages around places like Svalbard, it's ice and rock, very difficult anchorages. And again, as in Patagonia, the Rockner performed superbly, never really had any doubts. Back down, we circumnavigated Iceland, back down to Portugal again, Portugal up to the bottom end of Greenland, an attempt for the Northwest Passage in 2018, which failed. No one got through that year. We actually lost one boat up in the passage. And of course, all the time, every day, every night, we're anchoring in all these different anchorages, different bottoms, different conditions, ice, storms, calms. So we came all the way back out of the passage and all the way down to the Baffin Island, down through Labrador. Spent some time in Newfoundland fixing broken head gaskets. Then all the way down the Nova Scotia coast till we got a window to go across to Bermuda down through Haiti and Cuba, down through the passage, down to the Panama, 3rd time through the Panama all the way across the bottom, all the way up to the Aleutian Islands. Aleutian Islands from one end to the other, all the way back down through Inside Passage down to Canada, northwest Canada. Wintered over in Vancouver. And from Vancouver, I did a single-handed passage all the way back up to the Aleutians, and the Aleutians then across through northern Alaska, Nome, northern Alaska, right across through the Northwest Passage, all the way through out the other side, ended up the next landfall outside of the passage was actually the bottom end of Greenland. Greenland down through to the Azores, and the Azores was this semi non-stop passage all the way through to Hobart, Australia again. So, anchored in just about every environment and every bad place you could think of around the globe. And it's from the time that the Rockner was developed in New Zealand till now, it's all been on 3 Rockners. 2 main anchors, I always carry 1 spare, and a 40 kilo stern anchor, which has hardly been used. It's always been on the main anchors most of the time. But yeah, so that's the proving ground for Rockner. You can have a lot of faith in the anchor. It's never failed me. It's never let me down. All those years, all those miles, all those different anchorages, all those different conditions, big heavy boat. I've developed an absolute total faith in it. But of course, like everything, it's still an anchor. You can't see it on the bottom. You always have to be careful, make sure that it's set properly. You never take anything for granted. I don't care how good the anchor is or how much faith you got in it. You still have to be aware, be awake, make sure you got your anchor alarm set, make sure you got an escape plan. Well, if you add all those miles up on this globe, it's in the vicinity of 300,000 on the globe. On my log, 350,000 miles.